Well, the woke shit is still continuing on TikTok, and it's going to continue. I mean, Danesh has made it very clear that he's not going to go away in this video.
And one more promise I'll make, no matter what they do, no matter what they pull, I will never stop doing what I do.
Now, nobody ever thought Danesh was going to go away. He's too narcissistic for that. He actually did address me. Well, he didn't technically address me, but he alluded to me in this video.
To all the broke YouTubers who try to twist this into victim blaming and making me at fault for all this, in your fucking face. This is why you have no followers. This is why no one likes your content, because your information is wrong. It's categorically false. This is proof. They sunk their own case, but I just want to show you all what they're trying to do. So, are all the broke YouTubers going to make videos about this?
Yes, I am. See, Danesh doesn't understand what employment is because he's never actually been employed. Here's a screenshot from his Schmimprov days. In the good old days of 2010, when quite ironically, Kesh's TikTok was #1 in the hottest 100. Danesh was a social media manager for a group called Improv Schmimprov, where they basically did skits on a stage to a live audience. This is what was said on Facebook. Danesh writes, "The theme of Danesh's roast is how funny he has become. Then he bombed and lost on the same night. Appreciate the irony. He's still great, at least he's not Grant." Scotty comes in with a straight banger. Danesh playing Aid Warren in Cuckoo's Nest is the closest thing he's come to a real job in a long time. The fact he can pretend he's actually employed is a tribute to his improv skills. Danesh comes in on the Improv Schmimprov account with, whoa, you got to be Schmimprov first, Scotty. And then he backs it up with, I have a job. I've just yet to find one that pays more. I have a bigger house than anyone on Schmimprov and I'm 23. God damn, why didn't I use that at the roast? Now this man is sucking on his mum's tits. Let's be honest, he's never had a job. He's one of these rich little pricks who's quite happy to take other people's jobs, who may not have a backup plan like running home to mummy and mounting that boob as a 36-year-old man. So really this part here is for Danesh because I know he does watch my content and I thank you for that. See, there's this thing called a job and usually it's sort of like in a career, right? And you go there and you work for somebody and they pay you money. See, all of us work. You know, YouTube for me is not it's not even a source of income, if I'm honest with you. It's just something I like to do because I love making content. You use social media to make money. And this is why your content is so dishonest, because looking for racists in the real world, and Antifa bang on about it all the time, about we're going after anti-fascists. You know, what is this, the 1940s? Because, you know, looking for a real racist, a real neo-Nazi is like looking for a needle in a stack of needles. It's very hard to find. And you find these people shifting the narrative constantly on white people. Well, you're white, so you must be racist. It's like, well, if a person of color agrees with conservative politics, they label them as being people who have internalized racism. That's basically just another way of saying you must hate yourself. You see, what these content creators do, these dishonest ones online, is they skew the perception of people. So they'll take a viral video, a viral incident that's happened in a video, and they'll skew it to be a race issue. It's classic race hustling. And the reason they do that is because they're virtue signaling. They want people to believe that they're great people. Now, the fact of the matter is, the virtual world, the world you're watching me in now, and the real world, the world where you're sitting, are two very different worlds. In the virtual world, if enough people say it, it's true. But all you need to really do is go outside, walk around and talk to people to realize that the virtual world is full of fucking shit. You know, like racism, for instance, you know, they make out like it's more prominent within our society online. But you go out there into the real world and you learn pretty quickly that it's not. People act differently online. People put on these fake personas. They pretend to be something they're not. Danesh does it. Savannah does it. Danesh in the real world has a long history of being racist, and here's some proof. So I'm going to splice in some video from a YouTuber named Modern Ragnar, link in the description. He's shown proof of Danesh being racist in the past with this Improv Schmimprov group, and he does look like that Australian actor from Vikings. My God. Here's a video of Danesh being the typical hypocrite that he is, trying to talk his way out of why him and his white group were racist on stage. I want to remind people that Danesh and Savannah were going in on this lady for going blackface, when in fact Danesh's wife in fact went blackface. Here's the proof.
They wanted us to tell black jokes. That is why we are making fun of that gig.
This is a person who's not young.
No.
Oh, hold on. I think we forgot that she's dressed like a banana.
Yes.
None of anything we've said here has been untrue.
This is not a bit. This is real. And then they asked us to make black jokes. They asked us to make black jokes to her.
That's the truth.
And she just wants to... I need the money, so we're doing this.
This is not a joke. Just show them what they gave us.
They gave us this, and they said you could come in covering your junk with these napkins.
We just had a person in the room applying lipstick so that she could better lick us up and down.
You are fake news.
Ask Danesh and the boys at Schmimprov to be racist and you shall receive.
You guys decided to take it down to cover your butt.
Hear it on the telephone. Tell me more. It used to come in all kinds of colors. You can get it in red or white or pink.
Watch closely.
So thank you for that.
Yes, Danesh, that is your friend on stage, dropping the hard R. And that's you behind the camera laughing hysterically.
For that.
That was definitely your laugh. Hey, spot on.
Here's a tweet from a loyal fan. Tonight will hopefully be the most racist show you've ever seen. Love improv schmimprov, and that was in 2013. And just on the off chance if Danesh tries to deny even being a part of schmimprov in 2013, it's basically a tweet promoting tonight's show in 2013, and as you can see, Danesh is there. Thus proving once and for all that Danesh is a fake social justice warrior. Savannah Sparks has a long history of being racist as well, and she is a conservative. I know she claims she's not now. She's still got conservative leanings. Her whole family does. I mean, these people were parading around like they were communists because the extreme left is full of people with those leanings. So they knew what their audience was and they targeted that audience. So basically what they do is they just latch onto viral videos and they skew the perception of their audience to believe it's a race issue or it's got something to do with tone policing women or some garbage like that. Savannah Sparks doesn't give a fuck about feminism. Savannah Sparks only gives a fuck about Savannah Sparks, and Danesh does as well. Danesh only cares about himself. I mean, his whole platform has been embellished. They both got caught last year buying followers, so they privated their accounts because people started reporting them. And they didn't want to lose their accounts. And then they claim that, no, somebody else did it. Danesh's accounts are full of bots, and I can tell you exactly how he does it. If you go onto a website called GitHub, you can download bots. You can download share bots, they'll share your content. You can download follow bots, so they'll follow you. You can download bots that make comments, that like your videos, that even like the comments in your videos. Now, what you essentially do when you have these programs is you program in comments. So Danesh probably spent, a couple of weeks, an hour or two here and there just writing in comments, writing in really nice ones for his videos and writing in really nasty ones for the people he goes after. Because when you look at Danesh's following, I think he's probably got a couple of thousand at best. Most people just see his videos and are like, oh, I've seen a few of his videos before. I mean, there was one guy in his most recent video about Jennifer Couture who said he'd never even heard of her. It's like, this guy's a fan of yours? I mean, it's all you've been talking about for the last 3 months. So I always tell the victims, when they're getting hundreds of nasty comments, it's more than likely Danesh running a script. He's running bots on your account so that all these nasty comments come up. I mean, it's even in the lawsuit, and another news article even mentioned it. Here's that news article. So in December last year, Danesh was involved in a smear campaign that he was running against some news publications. Now, it was over an issue with a lady named Evan Berryhill. She got into an altercation with a couple of trans people in a parking lot when she was intoxicated. Cut a long story short, the video went viral and Danesh decided to put pressure on law enforcement to have her arrested. arrested and charged, which did happen, but the charges were dropped. But Danesh took it a step further. Danesh contacted multiple news publications demanding that they run the story. When they refused, Danesh ran a smear campaign on them. And in this article by SanAngeloLive.com, they say this: during the weeks-long online harassment campaign, the Facebook pages of Sapphire Jade Silver, aka Taylor Oglesby, and Maximus Silver, aka Charles Hardy, became a clearinghouse of content, primarily screenshots for leftist activists to harvest, to load into bot farms and use in messaging to defame and harass Berry Hill, the media, and San Angelo's law enforcement. Danesh is currently running a smear campaign on a Florida police chief because he's crying like a little bitch because he's not getting his way. Now, what Danesh did in the past, along with these other woke crazies, is they put pressure on law enforcement to arrest Jennifer Couture for the parking lot incident, falsely claiming that she tried to use her car as a weapon. Now, it worked back then, but unfortunately for Danesh, he's still trying to put pressure on law enforcement, but this time around, there's actually a lawsuit against you, sunshine. So it's not going to work, so you may as well give up the act. Another thing Danesh and Tizzy do is they use a website. It's supposed to be a sports news website called Sportskeeda. And what they do is they have articles written about their victims, people they cover, and they put a backlink to their TikTok videos in that article. Now, what that does is that's good for SEO, that's search engine optimization. So what it does is it allows you to come up in the Google rankings and gives you channel authority. They've been doing this for a very long time. Danesh always likes to claim that anybody that talks about him on YouTube or TikTok is using his name for clout. His name isn't worth anything. The most searched keyword on my channel is actually pegging now, because my pegging video, people seem to like it. So I guess YouTube wants me to make more pegging videos. And second to that's my name, and third is Danesh's. Now, myself and a YouTube channel called JTH Show are probably really the only two people on YouTube talking about Danesh, and we're not getting the views. Now, if Danesh was known by millions of people, it's basic trickle-down economics. Like, our videos would have millions of views by now. And look, if he's that well-loved, there'd be thousands of comments basically telling us how shit we are and we're wrong. And the video's retention would be in the toilet because people would switch off the second we talk negatively about Danesh. But that's not what's happening. Danesh and Savannah are both facades, and it's due to their narcissism. Here's a little bit about narcissism. In this article written by The Guardian titled "Social Media Fuels Narcissists' Worst Desires, Making Reasoned Debate Near Impossible," online victory is often about abusing others rather than winning hearts and minds. So the article starts off really well, talking about the harm social media causes and how people with low self-esteem, insecurities, and anxiety might be vulnerable to some of social media's darkest corners. Then it goes on to talk about narcissistic traits and how they have a tendency to have an inflated sense of self-importance and entitlement, crave admiration, expect special treatment, don't take criticism well, and lack empathy. These are all the traits that we see in Savannah Sparks and Danesh Noshirvan. It goes on to say narcissism manifests in two forms: grandiose narcissism, typified by the charming and charismatic extrovert, and vulnerable narcissism, characterized by anxiety, hypersensitivity to the perception of others, insecurity, and shyness. In its most extreme form, it is a personality disorder. It goes on to say that social media has elevated narcissism far beyond what is healthy. Social media is the narcissist playground. Through likes and shares, it re-engineers their social feedback loop towards the superficiality they thrive on, fueling a sense of superiority and rewarding manipulative tendencies. Perhaps it is little wonder that narcissists are more likely to become addicted to social media. Interestingly, studies suggest that narcissists on the right, they're talking political right here, show greater tendencies towards entitlement, and those on the left towards exhibitionism, craving validation. These are the virtue signalers that I've been talking about. This is what they're doing. Narcissists are also, perhaps unsurprisingly, more likely to engage in online bullying. This is Danesh, Savannah, and pretty much all of their supporters. This online elevation of narcissism has profound real-world consequences. People with narcissistic traits have always been more likely to be politically engaged. Social media has amplified these effects, affecting who dominates the public discourse within political parties and media debates. The ability to command vast numbers of likes is often seen as a reliable indicator of someone's level of insight and potential contribution. It goes on to say social media narcissists pull left-leaning movements towards the latter model of hating on people perceived to think the wrong way, which is destructive to social change but much more thrilling than the boring, old-fashioned work of building alliances across divides. Victory is people being shamed and bullied for minor or non-existent transgressions, rather than winning hearts and minds, no matter if the punishment far exceeds the crime. A narcissist's moral certainty dehumanizes those who fall foul of their creed. Danesh was told this by an attorney on Dr. Phil about the punishment exceeding the crime. It goes on to say that there is a risk that performative virtue signaling becomes a displacement activity for working to achieve real change. None of these people actually do anything. When they themselves have run charities for people or organizations, I have not once seen them show receipts of how much money was actually donated to them and how much money they gave to the actual charity. It goes on to say liking a post or signing an online petition delivers the feel-good hit of being on the right side of history without any of the real-world impact. And the more that activists model this form of brand-driven campaigning, the more it lets the rest of civil society off the hook. It goes on to say a core tenet of political liberalism is that the only way for societies to arrive at the right answer is to air all sides of the debate. A long underemphasized aspect of this is that changing people's minds is almost always more about how an argument is framed than its content. This is what we see with these people. Anybody that speaks out against them, they try to shut them down. They'll have their accounts banned, they'll have their videos banned. They're basically silencing their critics. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you liked that one. I know it was a bit of a long one, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show people the narcissistic tendencies with these creators. Now, the problem with what they do is, have they hit the nail on the head with some people they've covered? Sure they have. But because they live off the money they make on social media, they've just become dishonest. So they're labeling anyone a white supremacist and a neo-Nazi just to get the views. That makes them dishonest content creators. Now, Patrick Traynor, that's Jennifer Couture's and Dr. Ralph Giramone's lawyer, has refiled with the judge in regards to Danesh's claims that his lawyer is being harassed and stalked about his children. Danesh has no proof of that, but Patrick Traynor has pointed out that the stalking and harassment that Danesh's lawyer is getting is pretty much identical to the stalking and harassment that Jennifer Couture and Dr. Ralph Giramone are getting. Now, Danesh is lying about his children being stalked. Nobody's stalked his children. I've been here from day one. Now, I'm not saying that Danesh is harassing his own lawyer, but I think he is. And I think the reason why he's doing that is he thought that would light a fire under his ass to really go after the Giramones. It's done the exact opposite. His lawyer wants to pull out now. You see, Danesh, not everybody is a freak like you who lives for social media. Gee, you really played the wrong hand there. I think we're all looking forward to you getting sued and being shunned off social media. But here's the thing, see, Danesh's following is embellished. I've been pointing it out from day one. As soon as I saw his analytics, I knew straight away. Him pushing his content to people under the age of 18 because that's the largest demographic on TikTok, because he thought he was going to blow up and have 10, 20 million followers. This guy literally is the definition of fake it until you make it. And he hasn't made it and he's never gonna. Now, at the moment, Savannah Sparks hasn't said jack shit in your defense, Danesh, considering all the stuff you've done for her. Gee, that's got a sting. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one.